Welcome back. We have an update from Atara Biotherapeutics, Inc. It trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol ATRA and is harnessing the natural power of the immune system to develop off-the-shelf cell therapies for difficult-to-treat cancers and autoimmune conditions that can be rapidly delivered to patients from inventory. Please welcome Head of Corporate Communications and IR, Jason Ah. Welcome, Jason. We're looking forward to hearing your update.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Just a quick reminder, Atara is the first company to obtain regulatory approval of an allogeneic T-cell immunotherapy. So that was in Europe a couple years ago, in December of 2022, under the brand name Ebvallo. And now we're on track with priority review to get this approved in the United States. We have a January 15th, 2025 PDUFA date. So we're about a little over a month to go here. So we're getting very close to that milestone. And we're using that same platform, which I'll talk about very briefly in a moment, the Epstein-Barr virus T-cell for our CAR T side of the portfolio. So this is with two assets. And the one I'll talk about right now is ATA3219. This is a CD19 targeted CAR T-cell. We announced in our last quarterly earnings that we have dosed the first patient in relapsed refractory NHL. We're anticipating initial data in Q1 of 2025. And we have another study with that same asset, again, directed towards CD19 and autoimmune. There's two cohorts from that phase 1 in lupus nephritis as well as extrarenal SLE. And we're anticipating data in mid-25. And importantly, we do have cash runway into 27, which gets us through those key milestones that I just spoke about. I want to talk about just this tab-cel BLA coming up just for a moment. So this is a very significant milestone, I should say, for the company. Which we've been looking at this for almost 10 years now to get this approved. So we're very excited about this. The BLA is supported by pivotal and supportive data of more than 430 patients across multiple life-threatening diseases, very significant 48.8% objective response rate over time. We do have breakthrough therapy designation as well as orphan drug designation for this asset. No approved treatment options are available. And these patients, unfortunately, if they do relapse or refractory to first-line treatment, only have about 3 weeks to a little over a month of life left, which is a really poor prognosis. So we're really excited about this one. Significant pricing potential with a little over $500 million in estimated peak sales. So it is a significant opportunity. This will be commercialized by our partners, Pierre Fabre, with the same commercial partner that we use in Europe right now for Ebvallo. Now, our pipeline is built off of this Epstein-Barr virus T-cell platform. So tab-cel or tabelecleucel is based off of this T-cell that can recognize Epstein-Barr virus. We know that it's very safe, which I'll talk about in the next slide, that we use that for the rest of our CAR T portfolio. So again, we talked about 3219. We also have ATA3431. This is a dual targeting CAR T, targets both CD19 and CD20. As some may know, that one of the main sources of relapse in the oncology side is downregulation of different antigens, CD19 being one of them, just due to selectional pressure. And so by targeting both, you would anticipate or expect incrementally better efficacy. As I talked about, our platform's very unique for solving the allogeneic conundrum. So we're not autologous CAR T, which is what the 7 approved CAR Ts on the market are, allogeneic. And what that means is that we take healthy donor cells. These are not patient-derived, these are healthy donor cells, and manufacture our product from that. And all allogeneic companies have to solve for two main things: is how do you get these cells in the body without them randomly binding to tissues and causing graft-versus-host disease, and how do you get these cells in the body without them being rejected by the patient. And so we have a very elegant way of doing that, where almost every other company in the space relies on gene editing, taking out the T-cell receptor as well as the HLA complex. We're based off of the Epstein-Barr virus T-cell, and this is just based off of the biology of the T-cell of a natural immune response. These cells only recognize Epstein-Barr virus. They only have Epstein-Barr virus or EBV T-cell receptors. And so that essentially solves for that graft-versus-host disease problem. And the other part of this is just basic organ transplant biology. We make sure that we use cells that are similar enough and they look similar enough to the patient such that they don't get rejected outright. So it's the same concept as matching an organ for an organ transplant. And again, we've used this platform in over 600 patients to date with no lymphodepletion. And so we take this platform, we said, hey, this is very safe. We've never seen cytokine release syndrome or neurotoxicity. Let's put a chimeric antigen receptor in there. So we did just that. And we've basically have manufactured these and kind of evolved these a little bit, that Again, we solve for this graft versus host disease and allorejection problem. And the other main challenge with T cells is that they get tired, they get exhausted. And so we also use this next generation 1XX signaling domain. Talked about this in the past. Instead of these cells getting too excited too quickly, we kind of attenuate that activation signal through the signaling domain so that you get the full activation. It just takes a little bit longer. So you get less of that cytokine release syndrome or kind of that immunotoxicity, which is inflammatory reaction, which is very challenging. And that really brings up the issues with cytokine release syndrome and the neurotoxicity. And again, what we're looking at here is a very de-risk platform from what we've seen with tab-cel to de-risk antigen target with CD19, and then this less differentiated phenotype and 1XX signaling domain, which help prevent exhaustion and really mitigate this inflammatory response, has been used with other companies in this space like Takeda, Novartis, and Fate as well. So again, these are somewhat de-risked. And so this is really the first time that all of these different components are put into one cell type and used for therapeutic use. So with that, that's my quick update, and I'm looking forward to any questions. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Yeah, we've got a quick question. Please recap the most important catalysts and milestones in the coming year. It's upon us.
Yeah, so just quickly, so the tab-cel BLA, like I said, the PDUFA date is rapidly coming. It's only about 5 weeks away. January 15th of 2025 is the target action date. And then from there, we will be really pivoting as a company as that whole asset is going to be commercialized by our partner, Pierre Fabre. So that whole OpEx gets offloaded from our balance sheet and our financials. And we're just going to be recipients of positive cash flow of significant double-digit royalties and sales and commercial milestones moving forward. And then we're focused exclusively on our CAR T portfolio. And like I said, the 3219 asset has initial NHL data coming out Q1 of 25. And then we'll be anticipating initial data from the autoimmune side of that phase 1 trial that includes lupus nephritis as well as extrarenal SLE that does not use lymphodepletion in the mid-25 timeframe. And then finally, that dual targeting CD19, CD20 CAR T, that ATA3431 asset, we're anticipating to have that IND in late 2025, so Q4 of 2025. So it's going to be very exciting in 2025 for Atara.
Wonderful. Good news. Good to hear. And we look forward to following along with your progress and seeing you in the new year.
That sounds great. Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back, everyone.